This is Optimal Relationships Daily. Parents Need Sabbaticals Too, by Emma Scheib of SimpleSlowLovely.com. As parents, we frequently talk about and take pride in the fact that parenting is the hardest job in the world. However, so many of us take the daily grind of this vocation for granted. We don't take regular breaks and consequently wind up feeling exhausted, neglected, and resentful. Sure, our parenting job is also often the best job in the world, but it rarely carries time-out benefits like our paid jobs. Think about paid employment for a minute. Most jobs come with a certain amount of annual leave, and in addition to that, weekends and days off. We get regular breaks in order to return to our jobs refreshed. As a parent, we are usually on call for our children 24/7, particularly when they're young. And let's be honest, it's exhausting. We need regular breaks from the hardest job in the world. Historically, the concept of a sabbatical comes from the Old Testament commandment in the Bible to stop working the fields every 7th year. Academia have adopted this practice for employees, and most academic institutions offer a paid or unpaid year-long sabbatical. More recently, other professions have followed suit, offering employees 2 to 12-month career breaks, sometimes called long service leave. Stefan Sagmeister runs a successful design studio in New York, and every 7 years he closes his business for a whole year. He talks about this process in his 2009 TED Talk. He maintains that his break is crucial to the continued success of his brand. I can hear what you're thinking. A whole year? A parent can't take a whole year out of parenting. I know. But I'm going to advocate that regular breaks away from our family are crucial to the continuing success of our family. I recently spent a long weekend with my best friend, who lives a short flight away. We didn't plan anything outrageous, partly because she was sick and I was injured, but spent 3 days secondhand shopping, binge-watching a Netflix show, eating chocolate, cheese, and wine. And it was bliss. The best part was that I got to be just me for 3 days. I wasn't mummy. I was just me. 3 days away left me feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next 3 months of parenting. So I'm going to advocate that you as a parent take a break away from your children and family at least once a week. In addition to that, take annual leave in the form of a few days or a week away from them once a year, with or without your partner. And yes, I'm going to suggest that you take a sabbatical once every so often too. Take a couple of weeks to unplug, unwind, and connect with the things that will restore you. Here are some tips to make your sabbatical, whatever length, successful. Unplug from social media for a length of time. Do this if nothing else. Surround yourself with nature. Try a bit of forest bathing. Move your body. Get out of your head and connect with your physical self. Connect with people and things that nourish you and give you energy. And expect inspiration. Breaks from the norm are known to bring enlightenment. My Children Are Teaching Me How to Be Present, by Emma Scheib of SimpleSlowLovely.com. I like to think that I'm present for my children, most of the time. It's become a life goal after realizing I was living the majority of my life in the past or future. But yesterday, in a few small but seemingly insignificant moments, my daughter taught me that I still have a long way to go. She's 4, and along with her 9-year-old sister, they are my best and most beautiful creations. They also happen to be my most important teachers. What my 4-year-old taught me about being present. I don't consider myself in the running for Mom of the Year by any standards, and despite attempting to be more intentional about the way I parent, I fail constantly. Not one day passes where I don't do something to stuff up. One of the things I've tried to be more intentional about recently is how I use my phone and social media around them. And for the most part, I think I've improved. I try to limit my work online to the hours that they're at school so I can be more present for them when they're at home. Try is the most important word of that sentence. I have failed miserably the last few days. But yesterday, simply by her presence, my daughter reminded me that even if I'm not online, I'm often not available for her. My busy work just transfers to housework, cooking, and other chores. Thursdays are sacred. She has Thursday at home with me, a last hurrah before school at the end of this year. So I didn't schedule any work in for yesterday. I knew it would be a day of interruptions and errands, and I've learned not to try to write on these days. But determined to be productive in some way, I dutifully made a to-do list. Any parent listeners will know that with kids in tow, schedules and to-do lists may as well get thrown out of the window. After a beautiful walk around the estuary, I attempted to tackle the list. I'm pretty sure the main reason I achieved nothing yesterday was because Donkey and Lammy had to be buckled up in the back seat anytime we went anywhere. By 3 p.m., I felt utterly defeated. And then I began to notice. I noticed how she watched the birds in the walnut tree, the way her eyes lit up when I said yes to playing fairies with her. I watched her as she sat out barefoot in the garden, determined to find every ladybug. By 4 p.m., I'd given up and settled on the deck with my new book, and it was okay. It wasn't an aha moment per se, rather an accumulation of tiny moments, seen through her eyes, moments of joy and possibility. My children are teaching me how to be present. And in those moments, I realized how unpresent I had started the day, how unpresent I start many days. So I made a decision. To-do lists are now banned from Thursdays. I don't care if things need to get done. They might get done, or they might not. I'm going to try to not care anymore. Thursdays are now for noticing, walking barefoot, catching ladybugs, spontaneity, being alive, doing nothing, loving, and saying yes. In a few short months, I won't get this precious time anymore. I don't want to look back and say, I wish. Until then, we'll walk barefoot, and I will continue to learn from my greatest teachers. You just listened to the posts titled, Parents Need Sabbaticals Too, and My Children Are Teaching Me How to Be Present, both by Emma Scheib of SimpleSlowLovely.com. And some really wonderful posts from Emma today to help busy parents, and busy anyone really, slow down and live with intention. Now, I would assume that some listeners might be more intimidated by her ideas put forth in the first post than in the second one. It might seem impossible to take an entire sabbatical from parenting, even if it is just one day of the week. Well, I think her second post is a great means of warming up to the idea of taking breaks and using them as recharge. So look first for small moments in which you can break from your routine and what you swore you would do. Allow yourself moments of refuge before committing to entire stretches, so that you can try a break on for size before committing to something larger. It can be so hard to break from what we feel is necessary as parents, and easing into it is often the best means of doing so. So look around you today for very small invitations to do just that. I wish you luck with that, parents. It is time to sign off for today. I hope you enjoyed this work and that you're feeling inspired. Have a great rest of your Friday, and be sure to come on back tomorrow for another post. That's where your optimal life awaits.